Said each year, the American people tuned in to see just how far the president's own version of his record is from the reality of their lives. For 3 years, the president who campaigned as a moderate has governed like an activist from the furthest fringe of the Democratic Party. The Biden administration's agenda has meant pain at home and weakness abroad. It didn't have to be this way. President Biden took office amid strong tailwinds from an economic recovery that was already restoring the record-setting prosperity we saw before the pandemic to an historic modernization of our military that was well underway. He inherited everything he needed to point our nation toward further security and prosperity. But he chose weakness and invited danger instead. Today, nearly two-thirds of voters say our economy is worse than it was 4 years ago. Not even 1 in 4 think our country is on the right track. Barely a quarter of the country expects our economy to improve in the coming year. But that hasn't stopped President Biden from trying to convince working Americans to take his word for it and ignore their own shrinking paychecks. He's literally taken a victory tour to tout his disastrous economic record. His administration has declared Bidenomics the word of the year. Meanwhile, American consumers are shelling out a bigger portion of their income on groceries than at any point in the last 30 years. A food pantry in northern Kentucky is reporting more and more demand for enough food to make people's income stretch. Across the board, consumer prices are nearly 18% higher today than they were when President Biden took office. This is what Bidenomics in action really means. At kitchen tables tonight, working families will probably wonder whether the president has any regrets.
This is not good news. New data reveals that half of renters in the United States cannot afford to pay their rent. Many are having to delay their monthly rent payments, leaving them at risk of eviction. Some states and cities are choosing to approve help for those financially struggling right now. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video to learn more about this. Also, every Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, do make sure that you click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. The United States is witnessing a significant housing affordability crisis, with half of renters finding themselves paying more than they can afford due to years of escalating rents. However, experts say there's a glimmer of hope, as an increase in the construction of multiple unit buildings is starting to ease the pressure on rental prices. Nationally, rent saw a decline for the 8th consecutive month in December, with the median asking rent dropping to $1,713. While this marks a slight decrease from previous months, rents are still considerably higher compared to pre-crisis levels, with a notable 22% increase since 2019. The situation is especially dire for millions of households, with 23 million renters spending more than a third of their income on rent. Of these, 12 million are severely cost-burdened, allocating over half of their income to housing expenses. The Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies highlights alarming records, including the highest number of renters unable to afford housing and a surge in homelessness. Evictions are also on the rise, as crisis-related protections have expired, exacerbating the challenges faced by vulnerable renters. Despite the overall softening of rental conditions, affordability remains a pressing issue. Rent growth, which peaked at a record-breaking 15% annually in early 2022, has slowed down considerably, with rents growing by just 0.4% annually by the end of 2023. Even in notoriously expensive cities like New York, rents have begun to decrease, signaling a shift in the supply-demand dynamic. Renters currently have more bargaining power than in recent memory. In Colorado, where the housing crisis is acute, the state government is stepping in with a temporary rental assistance grant. This $30 million program aims to provide relief to renters at risk of eviction or displacement, offering assistance to those struggling to keep up with rent payments due to economic challenges. Dear friends, if you live in the state of Colorado, check to see if your city is currently providing relief. Also, friends, according to Yahoo News, the latest report from the U.S. Labor Department shows that job openings in the country remained largely unchanged in January, but continued to stay at elevated levels, suggesting ongoing health in the American job market. In January, U.S. employers posted 8.86 million job vacancies. That is a slight decrease from December's 8.89 million. Despite this slight dip, the number of job openings remained historically high, indicating persistent demand for labor. So while layoffs saw a modest decline, so did the number of Americans voluntarily quitting their jobs, signaling confidence in their ability to secure better opportunities elsewhere. This trend suggests that workers may be seeking higher pay or improved working conditions. Although job openings have decreased since reaching a record high of 12 million in March 2022, amid the post-crisis economic rebound, they remain at historically elevated levels. While higher borrowing costs have contributed to a moderation in inflation, consumer prices still rose by 3.1% year over year in January, though down from a peak of 9.1% in June 2022. Well, my awesome and amazing friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, tomorrow, which is Friday, I will be announcing several winners for the $75 Walmart gift card giveaway. So please make sure you enter these weekly giveaways. All you have to do, friends, is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning these giveaways. Thank you, and have a wonderful and very blessed week.